Hey everybody, you're on this channel, and today we're going to talk about maple. What we know about him and what we know about him. I looked out the window, looked out, and here is a maple. A maple, not unusual to look at it. This must be interesting in its own way. That's why we're gonna talk about this tree today. Here we go. Lean. The scientific name of the genus comes from Latin acer, which means strong, and apparently due to the property of wood, not from a Chinese firm with one name, which was respected by the oaks for a reason. Clean is a vast family of trees and shrubs of this family, and the number is enormous. We mean about 160 species and thousands of other varieties produced from the breeders, and under the shades of their family 150 births, which include the likes of guaranut, horse chestnuts. The maple is dead and in its design, a tree that may not be like any. The uniqueness of the plant is attributed to unusual leaves, which do not in shape repeat any of the other crops. They are mostly tall trees, growing to a height of 4 meters, and are less likely to be found in all species, which has a low height of about 10 meters. The plant is multi-year, highly resistant to hazards, and is grown throughout the moderate climate. What's amazing, these guys are growing up in the southern hemisphere. Only species of laurel maple settle in the tropics. Most of the trees are foliage trees. Only a few species from South Asia and the Mediterranean are always green, so he is. Figure it out and start with the peanuts, slowly moving to the crown of the root. The hamsters of the central part go deep into the ground. The lateral roots of the layer of ground sheath are spread under the surface layer of the soil. This root structure allows the maple to produce substances, as well as to withstand strong and other weather conditions. The stem of the maple leaf is dense, with thick layers of bark. The cortex of the young twigs and the stalks of the bright brown color is covered with cracks and a gray rade with age. The bark of shrub culture remains a delicate state throughout the growing season. It's the period when the plant is active. Another feature of the maple is the rapid growth and development of the vito, which can grow 2.5 meters in a year. With appearance, the side stalks on the maple leaves are formed. The leaves of the stalks are placed on the stalks and twigs all over the surface of the tree. The abundance of branches and leaves form a large crown of wood. The leaves are the differences between the seed plates are in an unusual form, which no other plant can repeat. Most species have hard leaves, and here know the hard leaves. Well, in this is the arrangement of leaves when 2 leaves are removed from each node, sitting in the opposite direction. Taugal, as most species of plant, that is visible or your finger foliage. At the same time, one half of the sheet is completely symmetrical to the other. Each leaf has 7 to 9 foliage that is clearly visible on the sheet. Some species are represented by hard to clear leaves with available permeable foliage. Not more than a few species of maple are covered with leaves, consisting of 3 parts. In the spring, when maple kidneys begin to cut thin leaves, the maple blooms. Flowers are unusual. From a distance, it may seem that on the branches of the tree, someone's hand has put out a piece of green moss to dry. The maple produces flowers that appear in the leaves yolks, both. They have 5 shells, 5 petals, 1 to 6, 12 punctures, and 2 petals of different types. The veil is located above and has 2 pedicels whose wings are dropped on the flower. Spaces. It is easy to determine which flower is a woman. Most of the maple bloom at the end of winter or early spring. In most species, as soon as the leaves appear, and it's on the opposite. Flowers, depending on the variety of species, can be red, yellow, orange, or green. Even though each of them is very small, the flowering of some species gives the human eye the impression of a fully blooming tree. When you get close to the tree, you're gonna feel a very light fragrance. Maybe he'll remember the smell of clover by himself, and that other fresh strawberries will take a little while. The cut leaves will spread out the maple. After watching the maple and its rebirth, the villagers long recognized the birch had sprung forward and wait for the dry summer, and if the maple was after blooming the plant, the fruit of the two wings, which are small seeds with a long wing, forms a rotation and lighter vapor in the wind falls. All the time of the year, good maple, but it is especially beautiful and visible in the autumn, when its leaves are full of all the shades of amber. The rainbow maple will take their place at this time. Flowers are in order after a bright summer, and there's some special touching beauty in them that can't be competed with by the most flowers. And in the valleys of the park or in the woods, when the trees have already been cut, the eye and bright puzzle of fallen leaves need to rejoice for a long time. It's nice to walk the sun's autumn day and fall maples after foliage on the branches of the maple until the deep autumn there are suspensions of seeds. If you blow a breeze and a lot of wings so similar in flight to the maples, they will not hit the ground, trying to land away from the plant's trunk. When seeds are flying, provided with cribs, it seems like choppers are landing. Yes, dear friends, scientists have wings, and a single man has had choppers since he was a kid. And although the comey chopper is called the seeds of many trees, tree, pine, foliage, crotch, seeds have one. Burza is a hung up. Their seeds have two wings, but they're small. And for the maple, the seeds are larger and heavier, and they have really large that can slow down the fall by rotation. And the takes the seed away. And as a child, the kids watched them go down from the height, and it wasn't enough. They ripped them off and launched them on their own. There's a lot of interesting things to do, like things and applications, to make them look like weird animals and plants. Some of them will grow in the spring, and if there are no more powerful competitors at the landing site, they will grow with time, and a weak plant, a powerful, handsome maple. And, as was said, the maple grows very quickly under favorable conditions, adding up to 2 meters in a year. Some of the maple fruits that the child not reached or that not ripped off the wretched wind remain hanging on the tree, almost winter, and can meet northern snowflake guests on its branches. And not only is the sneaky bird cleverly and quickly chews a sweet seed out of the fruit, for the seeds, foresters eat maple in harsh winter. In winter, the animals feed on the eating most of maple, and deer in the forest, sure, more rabbits, beaver, rodents, but for some reason the foliage made twigs raided goats. They're first in line. The planting of maples in the forest is a really interesting culture, which gives the area where it grows a higher speed. Species of maple grow in the northern or moderate climate, so culture is grown throughout Europe, North America, and South Asia. About 30 species, excluding ornamental varieties, meet in Russia and the CIS countries. Clean is found in the European part, in the Far East, and is common in Crimea, Caucasus. Clean is widely used as a decorative crop, so plants grow in park and garden areas. There are extensive maple landings. It is also often grown as separate trees by holly, field, tanner white, or pseudo-platform, Japanese maple, concrete and foliage maple of the river, as well as maple. Maple is green bark and maple is red. Maple is mango. The maple is silver. The maple is bearded. The maple is birch, or the maple is yellow, and many others are yellow. Clean is quite easily exposed to disease and pest attacks. Plants adapt easily to any changes, very easily, though they hardly change their structure. But the maple still has chronic diseases. One of the most common maple diseases is flory dew. In this pathology, there is a white attack on culture, which is gradually growing and falling. The cause of pathology is fungus, which harm culture. A maple may suffer from a disease such as black spots. The distinctive features of pathology are the emergence of dark, uneven circles of yellow ice leaves, pests of maple leaves, and runaways marked by a long nostril. The insect is planted on leaves and stalks. Feed on crop juice. The leaf is badly damaged, the tree may die. It is also common to find small worms of maple worms on maple leaves. Caterpillars also pose a cultural hazard, which is harmful only to foliage but also to roots. A big threat to maple is the bright sword. Because culture die after attack. Maple itself is not only a decorative tree, but also a useful plant with healing properties. The rich chemical composition accounts for its use in traditional medicine as a means of raising immunity from inflammation in muscle. The substance in the leaves has tonic and phagocyte properties. In addition, many popular recipes are made up of maple to reduce body temperature, to limit kidney pathology, and to remove liquid chair. Many folk recipes recommend the use of fresh maple juice obtained freshly. Also useful is maple milk, which increases immunity. To prepare the mixture, make several tablespoons of maple juice with a glass of milk. Cough is used to treat the cough from the seed of maple. Titis is treated with leaf. 1 column of maple leaf seeds can save a person from kidney disease. In the leaves, substances such as sugar, vitamin C for 12, apple and vinegar acid were also found in the compound. You're rich in maple and mineral composition, which consists of phosphorus, magnesium, potassium, and calcium, and silicon. The composition is supplemented by fatty acids and lipids. A lot of people have heard about maple syrup, but they need maple to get it. The maple juice is collected early in the spring when the temperature of the air is warmed up to 60 degrees. Metal tubes are used for collection and are inserted into a hole on the trunk of a tree. One tube can collect about 30 liters of juice. It's important to know that the maple is lucky to die absorbs toxins, so collecting the juice of a tree standing near the road in a dusty area isn't worth it. It can only harm. Once the juice is collected, it is stored in a closed container in the refrigerator. Generally, the best storage conditions are syrup and juice, which retain useful properties long-term. Abundance of maple juice sugar results in the wide manufacture and use of syrup. Maple syrup is widely used as an addition to sweet products or pastry dessert. The taste of maple syrup is characterized by small tolerance, free taste. As a rule, new syrup is easy to repay, as it is widely used in cooking. Clean is another, so trees are often found in the petals or farms where honey is obtained. In addition, maple trees have been used in industrial and other areas of the maple tree. The plant in strength and durability, so it is widely used for the manufacture of various structures, as well as for the small-scale production and wood. The plant can easily withstand any stresses, not cracking, and what makes it possible to create different patterns and engravings. Maple has heavy and dense wood, strong and hard, with moderate drying, swelling, and little boxes. It's hard to crack a maple. In previous centuries, the maple was a favorite material of craftsmen who made spoons, rods, and coffee vessels. It was made of oxen, not handles, bearings, and so forth. The days are the responsible part of the simplest cars. This spread use of maple is no accident. Clean is well treated by cutting instruments. Russian rails on the lip sits through the maple, stares at the birch, shakes. Someone tells me what the author is talking about. Meanwhile, this ginger is the simplest homemade device. Each part of it was made by craftsmen of a particular tree. The dance, in which there was a yarn limb, a yarn on which a yarn of maple was stretched, and a spool on which a yarn of birch was folded. However, it was possible to make a crown and the spindle from the wood of other trees if necessary. The crown was made only of maple. Middle lane trees, it is easy to find something that could. For any comb, you need a wide board of dense, homogeneous solid wood. After all, a lot of and long teeth had to be cut on the craft. It took great skill, great care to those teeth on a maple board. Finished crest was scrubbed, and polish, remove the smallest shrubs, then soak strength with linseed oil and dryer. In modern wood production, maple is used to make strong skis and rifle spoons. Cut maple to cut decorative and sculpture in doubling end. Clean is one of those trees that have a direct connection to music. There's ringing spoons out of it for the popular instrument ensemble, and your shepherds. Musicians are made of maple, too. In the music industry, axe or white maple are commonly used. The ones that grow up in the Caucasus and the Carpathians. The maple tree has a beautiful texture, especially on the radial and floral radial incisions. But most importantly, it has high acoustic and mechanical properties. The uniformity of the wood, the sound does spread at the same speed, both forward and along the fingers. They make the lower debut and like the neck and the violin stand, cello, muffling, the asphalt, and so forth. Canadian or sugar maple produce plywood, sometimes with very bizarre text, the cave drawing called the Bray. And the most the Leon, of course, owned by the Canada. The sugar maple is recognized as a national tree, and his leaf is painted on this coat of arms and flag of state. Winning an increasing popularity in the Canada, the maple leaf has begun to appear outside the coat of arms and flag on a symbol of the nation, and other peoples around the always have superstitions and acceptances. It is also believed that maple trees can take away all negative energy from humans. It takes a hug for a few minutes, and if a new house was built for the wets on the outside, the maple was planted as a symbol of the love and loyalty of the couple. After all, these two concepts mean a lot in human life at any time, and I'd like people with these qualities to be leaves in the audience, colored of the new park to be countless. And our children continue to put maple seeds of life into the sky. Fun choppers. Look, listen, write it, sign up. We don't forget to put on the bark and share the video with our friends. It's very helpful to move forward.